She told me you don't have to know what goes on during a lady's getaway. That's the reason you're restricted until I return. I didn't respond. But upon her arrival, anticipating my presence at the airport, she discovered who was truly there for her. I work as a private detective. It's a profession that transforms you. You start viewing the world through tiers of honesty and falsehood. You learn to interpret individuals not by their words, but by their actions. And crucially, by what they attempt to conceal. My partner of 3 years, Jessica, always claimed my occupation made me overly skeptical. In reality, my work hadn't made me skeptical enough. Our bond was, I believed, my single refuge from the environment I navigate. It was the one area where I didn't need to search for the scheme, the fabrication, the concealed agenda. We were companions. We resided in my home, which I'd purchased and financed through 10 years of extended evenings and hazardous tasks. We shared aspirations, a joint existence. I had faith in her. In my field, faith is the ultimate value, and I'd bestowed all of it upon her. The issue began, as it frequently does, with an excursion. A 5-day women's outing to Las Vegas with her trio of closest companions. There was Lauren, the instigator, divorced twice and always pursuing. There was Becca, the imitator, who echoed Lauren's traits. And there was Chloe, who was reserved but constantly appeared to be observing and scheming. I disliked them. They were noisy, shallow, and regarded Jessica as their treasured asset, repeatedly recalling her untamed times before encountering a dull, reliable man like me. Several days prior to the journey, I assisted Jessica with packing. I requested her flight information and the hotel's name, simply to have it for any urgent situation. She faced me, an odd, stern expression in her gaze. "You don't require that," she stated. I was surprised. "What are you saying?" "I merely want to be aware of your location." She folded her arms and her tone became harsh and patronizing. "It's a women's getaway, Mark. The entire purpose is to escape from all, including you. You don't need to be informed about what occurs on a women's outing. That's why you're restricted until I return." I simply gazed at her, restricted. She wasn't merely seeking seclusion. She was establishing a 5-day isolation. She was creating a boundary between her existence and our shared one. I didn't respond. I didn't shout. I didn't debate. In my career, when someone presents a barrier, you don't attempt to dismantle it. You discover a path to circumvent it. My mindset, honed to examine all perspectives, instantly shifted to work mode. The partner vanished. The detective had just started his shift. "Fine," I replied, my tone entirely composed. "I get it, enjoy yourself." Her assured, rebellious look wavered momentarily, substituted by a hint of bewilderment. She had anticipated an argument. She had desired one. An argument would have validated her feelings. My straightforward consent provided her no resistance. She departed the following day. I transported her to the airport. She was upbeat, thrilled, already in holiday spirit. As she exited the vehicle, she bent in for a kiss. "Don't long for me excessively," she remarked with a playful eye gesture. "I'll contact you upon arrival to inform you I'm lifting the restriction." "I won't," I stated. She chuckled, assuming it was humor. I observed her enter the terminal, pulling her luggage along. Then I left. I didn't head home. I proceeded to my workplace. The inquiry had commenced. She believed she was entering a 5-day isolation. She was unaware I was preparing to illuminate her entire situation. She anticipated my presence at the airport on her return. She was correct, somewhat. I wouldn't be present. But she was on the verge of learning who was genuinely awaiting her. Update 1. A week has passed since Jessica departed for her women's getaway. For her, it's been 7 days of celebrations, snapshots, and hidden matters. For me, it's been 7 days of silent, systematic effort. The type of effort I'm exceptionally skilled at. The initial action I took at my workplace was straightforward. I checked the registration of the vehicle that collected her 3 companions that morning. Lauren had shared an image of the quartet outside her residence, prepared to depart. The vehicle in the scene was a luxury SUV. The registration traced to a gentleman named Adam Cole. A rapid lookup showed Adam Cole was a high-level executive at a prominent finance company in town. He was also wedded with 2 small kids. Intriguing. Jessica had mentioned they were traveling on an economy carrier. Some investigation into passenger lists for Las Vegas that day revealed otherwise. No reservations under her name or her companions on any standard flight. However, a chartered aircraft belonging to Adam Cole's company had submitted a route from our location to Las Vegas that morning. The traveler roster wasn't accessible publicly, but I didn't require it. The scenario was clarifying. The restriction was a benefit, not a hindrance. It affirmed deceit. She assumed it would maintain my ignorance. Instead, it granted me liberty to proceed without upholding the pretense of the faithful partner. Her companions, though, weren't as cautious. They were overconfident. Becca, the imitator, maintained an open online account. She was a source of data. Over the week, she uploaded a continuous flow of images and clips. They were all precisely composed to appear as a women's outing. Images of the four with drinks beside the swimming area. A clip of them moving to music at a dance venue. A self-portrait before a renowned gambling hall. But novices invariably err. In the mirror of Becca's eyewear in one self-portrait, I spotted the distinct shape of a male seated opposite them at a shaded spot. In the distance of a clip from the dance venue, I noticed Lauren giggling and leaning closely toward a male who certainly wasn't her former spouse. The largest error was a snapshot Chloe shared. It was a collective image of the four at an upscale meal. In the distance on the surface was a unique artwork, a sizable modern painting. A backward picture lookup required under 5 minutes. The artwork was a famous item displayed in the exclusive eating space of one of the premier luxury accommodations in the Bellagio. An accommodation unavailable to ordinary visitors. An accommodation set aside for the establishment's top patrons. I placed several communications. I possess connections in Las Vegas. Individuals who are indebted to me. An associate in gaming security verified it. The accommodation was listed under Adam Cole. He was present for the week, entertaining a set of associates, and his visitors encompassed 4 females. My partner, Jessica, was among them. This wasn't a women's outing. It was a compensated gathering. She wasn't vacationing with her companions. She was an accompaniment for an affluent married gentleman and his professional contacts. The whole journey, the confidentiality, the restriction. It was all a disguise for an existence she pursued without me. The concluding element was the most distressing. In one of Becca's clips, I observed Jessica in the distance. She was amused, grasping a beverage and conversing with a male. I couldn't discern his features plainly, but something seemed recognizable about him. I extracted the sound, refined it, and processed it via a vocal recognition system. It was uncertain, but I needed certainty. The system aligned the vocal structure to a reference from my records. The voice was that of a man called Scott, her previous betrothed, the individual she claimed to loathe, the one she said had been unfaithful and shattered her emotions. He was one of Adam Cole's associates. The whole affair was a falsehood, an intricate, multifaceted, and profoundly offensive falsehood. She hadn't simply embarked on a journey without me. She had ventured on a journey to be with another male, sponsored by yet another male, while feigning companionship with her friends. My plan was evident. This wasn't a circumstance needing discussion. It demanded repercussions. A visible, irrefutable, and existence-modifying repercussion. I commenced with Adam Cole's spouse, Catherine. I conducted a profile review on her. She was an esteemed child specialist, a parent, a lady who appeared unaware of her spouse's activities during work travels. I didn't approach her personally. That wasn't appropriate. But I assembled a dossier. A tidy electronic collection including the aircraft route, the accommodation listing, and the online images, encompassing those depicting her spouse with Lauren. I dispatched the dossier to a credible separation lawyer in her area with an unidentified message. You may wish to present this to your patron, Catherine Cole. It appears her spouse's professional travels are more adventurous than she realizes. Subsequently, I addressed Scott, the former betrothed. He was a property builder. He was also, per official documents, amid a complicated commercial conflict with his past collaborators. I have an acquaintance who is a probing reporter. I forwarded him an unidentified lead regarding a property builder who supports his extravagant way of life and his Las Vegas excursions with others' funds. I added Scott's identity and some particulars about his commercial activities that weren't difficult to uncover if you knew the sources. Lastly, I readied for Jessica's comeback. She was set to arrive Sunday afternoon. She had messaged me via a companion's device days prior. A short, lively note, enjoying immensely, eager to meet you, collect me at 3 p.m. Sunday, I'll remove the block en route. I answered with a plain okay. She anticipated me. She expected an embrace, a peck, and a serene ride back where she'd recount a sequence of selectively modified tales about her journey. She was oblivious to what awaited her. I located the individual with greater entitlement to be at that airport than myself. It required 2 days of dedicated labor, but I located her. the cohabiting partner of Scott, the former betrothed. Her name is Emily. She is an educator, and she was unaware her partner was in Las Vegas. He had informed her he was at a health sanctuary in Arizona without mobile access. I phoned her. It was the toughest communication I've ever initiated. I explained my identity and I revealed what I'd uncovered. I forwarded her the proof, the sound recording, the images, the accommodation details. She remained quiet for an extended period. Then she began weeping. But following the sorrow emerged the fury, a chilled, firm fury that aligned with mine. I informed her of Jessica's arrival. I shared the arrival time. And I offered her a suggestion. She anticipates my presence, I stated. But I believe you're the one she ought to encounter initially. Emily consented immediately, thus the scene is prepared. The participants are positioned. Jessica's arrival is due in 24 hours. She anticipates a reception celebration. She is unaware she's about to enter a memorial, her personal one. Update 2, the occurrences of recent days have been more turbulent and more gratifying than I could have orchestrated. The airport wasn't merely a clash, it was an explosion. And I was the one controlling the detonator, distant. I wasn't at the airport that Sunday. I was at residence, overseeing the event via a real-time transmission from a contracted security specialist I'd engaged. He was acting as a chauffeur, displaying a placard with an alternate name, his device camera broadcasting straight to my computer. Jessica's arrival occurred punctually. I viewed as she and her 3 companions exited the entrance into the luggage retrieval zone. They were sun-kissed, amused, and burdened with purchase sacks. Jessica was on her device, a wide grin on her features. She was likely messaging me, indicating her presence, expecting me curbside. As they proceeded through the primary entrances into the welcome area, I spotted Emily. She stood composed and steady, grasping a sizable, expertly produced display board. On the board was a sharp, detailed image I'd obtained from my gaming associate. It was an image of Jessica and Scott, positioned at a card game in the elite lounge, his limb wrapped dominantly around her. Jessica noticed Emily initially. Her grin stiffened, her complexion paled, she halted abruptly. Her companions, still conversing, collided with her. They traced her stare to Emily, then to the display she held. The amusement ceased. Emily didn't shout, she didn't yell. She merely remained, allowing the image to communicate. The welcome area of a key airport is bustling, but a minor zone of quiet and intense tension formed around them. Folks were pausing, gazing, retrieving their devices. Jessica attempted to regain composure. She began to depart, feigning ignorance of Emily, but Emily was ready. She advanced a step, her tone distinct and firm, audible to all nearby. "Scott conveys his regrets," Emily stated. "He couldn't attend to greet you personally. He's occupied clarifying this image to me." Jessica's companions glanced at her, their expressions blending astonishment and emerging dread. They had participated in the deception, and now they were in the impact zone. At that precise instant, a gentleman in a neat outfit approached. He was a document deliverer I'd contracted. He proceeded straight to Jessica. "Jessica Miller," he inquired, his tone expert and audible. She merely affirmed, utterly dazed. "You've been notified," he declared, presenting her a substantial official packet. Within that packet was a formal removal directive. She had 30 days to extract her items from my premises. Also within was a protection mandate, barring her from reaching me or approaching within 500 feet of my residence or workplace. The blend of public embarrassment and official papers was overwhelming. Jessica simply collapsed. She released her sacks, shielded her features with her palms, and commenced weeping. Her companions didn't hasten to soothe her. They seized their own sacks and dispersed, vanishing into the masses like fleeing rodents from a failing vessel. They desired no involvement in the disorder they'd assisted in forming. My security specialists recording documented everything. The attractive, assured lady who had isolated me from her existence mere 5 days before was now positioned on the airport ground, encircled by her costly purchase sacks, entirely and completely isolated. The repercussions afterward have been rapid and thorough. Adam Cole's spouse, Catherine, acted swiftly. The day following my dispatch to her attorney, she initiated separation proceedings. She also, reportedly, converted a substantial share of their combined holdings and placed the funds into a safeguard for her offspring, an action her marital contract permitted in instances of disloyalty. Adam faces a complicated, costly, and highly visible separation. His company is also allegedly assessing his role, as the controversy doesn't align with their family-focused reputation. Lauren, the organizer of the journey, has been identified in the separation case. Scott, the previous betrothed, is also in severe difficulty. The reporter I informed published a piece on his questionable commercial practices. His collaborators are pursuing legal action against him, and his standing is ruined. Emily has departed from him and is, with my assistance, readying her own legal claim against him for monetary compensation. And Jessica. Her existence is a ruined landscape. She lacks a partner, a residence, and her companions have deserted her. She needed to contact her family to retrieve her from the airport. I can only envision that dialogue. She now resides in their extra room, a 30-year-old lady whose whole existence has been restarted from scratch. She has attempted to reach me, naturally. She has utilized temporary devices, fresh electronic addresses, all. I haven't replied. My attorney has dispatched her a halt and refrain notice, recalling the protection mandate. Her companions have also tried to connect, each with their own weak effort at mitigation. They've all asserted they were unaware of the true events, that Jessica had deceived them. I haven't replied to them either. They are insignificant. I devoted the week post her return to methodically removing her from my existence. Her items were boxed by a specialist relocation service and transported to her family's location. I altered my contact number. I've cleansed my online presence. To her and the circle she occupies, I've turned into a specter. She believed she was engaging in a scheme. She thought she could possess everything, the reliability I offered and the excitement of a concealed existence. She failed to comprehend that in my realm there are no schemes. There are solely realities, proofs, and outcomes. She provided me a 5-day isolation. I provided her an eternal one. Final update: 6 months have elapsed since the airport encounter day. The turmoil hasn't merely subsided, it has been cleared, yielding a fresh beginning. I'm composing this concluding report not to boast, but to conclude this segment of my existence, and to outline the ultimate subdued outcomes of a chain of very prominent errors. My existence has progressed in a manner I didn't foresee. After the original gratification of the retribution diminished, I experienced a void. I had triumphed, but the success seemed empty. I had invested much of my life seeking falsehood in others that I'd overlooked how to seek the positive. The individual who aided me in altering that was Emily, Scott's former partner. We maintained contact following the airport event. We were two individuals deceived by the identical fabrication, and we discovered an odd form of solace in that mutual ordeal. We began with beverages, then meals. We discussed all except the incident. We conversed about our careers, our relatives, our ambitions. I found a lady who was compassionate, amusing, and remarkably resilient. We are in a relationship now. It's gradual, it's cautious, and it's constructed on a base of complete transparency. It's the most authentic element in my existence. The existences of those who generated such disorder, however, have reached their own appropriate resolutions. Adam Cole's separation was concluded. It was harsh. Catherine, equipped with the proof I supplied, claimed all she was rightfully due. He forfeited his residence, a major part of his wealth, and his role at the finance company. His standing is obliterated. Lauren, cited in the separation, has turned into a societal reject. The affluent gentlemen she once connected with now view her as a risk. Scott's legal issues have intensified. The piece on his business methods sparked a formal probe. He confronts numerous legal actions and the possibility of penal accusations. He has forfeited all. And Jessica. Her narrative is the most subdued and, in certain aspects, the most sorrowful. After months residing with her family, she eventually secured employment and relocated to a modest dwelling. She is recommencing, but solitary. Her companions never returned. Her standing never mended. I obtained one last message from her roughly 2 months back. It was a correspondence passed to me via my attorney. It was an extended, manually written regret. She offered no justifications. She didn't request another opportunity. She simply accepted it. She noted that the public disgrace at the airport was the lowest point of her existence. But it was also the moment she truly recognized herself for her true nature, an individual who prized the notice of many over the affection of one. She mentioned she was undergoing counseling and that she aspired one day to evolve into someone she could respect. She concluded the correspondence by stating she didn't anticipate pardon, but that she was sincerely remorseful for the hurt she inflicted on me. I perused the correspondence, and for the first time I didn't experience rage or contentment. I merely sensed resolution. I trust her regret was authentic, But I also trust that certain elements, once fractured, cannot be reassembled. My retribution wasn't solely about revealing a fabrication. It was about compelling a collection of individuals who existed in a realm of delusion to confront an instance of indisputable reality. The airport was a platform, and on that platform they were all compelled to discard their disguises. What remained was unattractive. I no longer contemplate them. My existence is complete. I possess a companion I rely on, an enterprise I'm proud of, and a tranquility I haven't known in ages. I continue to perceive the world in tears, but now I'm improved at perceiving the positive alongside the negative. Jessica assumed she could isolate me for 5 days. She didn't recognize that by doing so, she was granting me the room to construct a fresh barrier, one that would shield my existence from her type of turmoil eternally. And beyond that barrier, all is serene, all is secure, and all is genuine.